Welcome, everyone. We see so many familiar names, which is so exciting.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome
Welcome to our
back.
call. Hello. As you're joining, we were just chatting about this. We want to know, like, if you had your dream takeaway of these calls, what would it be? Like, what are you really just yearning to learn and find out? And you can share that in the chat.
Yeah, I'm excited to read some of these responses. Oh gosh, familiar faces too. Welcome back, Melissa. Welcome back, Anne. It's good to see you. Yeah, we'd love to hear as we're getting started here, and you're welcome to just pop it in the chat, what you're looking for in calls like this. What feels like what you'd love to leave the call with in this call or in any of our events, our live calls. So yeah.
Knowledge, great. It's always good. And we
Yeah.
just finalized our list for April, May, and June of all the live events that we're going to be doing. So we'll post that soon, or Grace will post that soon. But every idea that you all give us is typically what we do because these are for you. We want them to be exciting and informative for you. Tips. What the skincare is all about. How's it different? Okay, great. Also, if you're just joining, if you want to plug in the chat, how long have you been a customer? Are you new to the brand? Have you just learned about it?
Mhm.
Anything you want to share there would be helpful.
Oh, I love hearing that. Marilyn says she's learned something new in every call. Nice.
And it's been sweet seeing some repeat faces on here.
Oh, welcome, Valerie. I'm new to the brand.
Mhm.
Oh, love it. Lots of newer folks.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. I did a consultation earlier and there was a woman on the call who had been a customer of ours for 10 years. And it was just a beautiful bridge of like we've got customers who've been with us for quite a long time. And then we've got so many people who are just finding us. It's lovely.
Cool. Well, let's dive in. Okay. So, Kate,
Yeah,
do you want to talk about kind of the intention of this call and what you really, this was Kate's idea. She wanted to bring
yeah.
call to everyone.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the products, of course, and using the products and routines with the products, and also about kind of going a step further about turning your routine into a ritual, about being very intentional with every step of your routine and how that can change all of how the experience goes, how it feels, how you're feeling in it, how you're feeling afterward. And so that's kind of the orientation around this call. We're definitely going to be doing some giveaways. We are going to, of course, have a place kind of towards the end for question and answer, but definitely ask questions or share feedback as we're going along here. So that's kind of what we're doing. We might talk about some products that maybe you don't hear about as often. One of our mists, maybe some of the body products, one of the hair products. I just really wanted to have the opportunity to kind of broaden the perspective in a lot of different ways. So that's largely what we're focusing on. Before we get too far into it, I'm going to invite Grace to come in and tell us about what the promo is for our call today.
Hi, everyone. I'm Grace. Hello. It's nice to see all your faces. So our promo today is super exciting. So if you spend $250 or more, you'll get a free Palo Santo hair and body mist, which is lovely, by the way. I sprayed it on before this call. And then in addition to that, we also have 20% off the Nephrite gua sha, excuse me, because we do have a gua sha tutorial coming up in April. So if you want to get it before that, that'd be lovely. And I will also put this in the chat so you can kind of see it and get a visual for it. But is only one code, and that's just for the gua sha. So the free gift, you don't need a code for it or anything. But yeah, that's about it.
Yay,
Amazing.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. And I do want to just note again, and we'll probably mention it, an item that we'll probably introduce or talk about throughout the call is the gua sha stone. And this is a facial tool, but we are offering a promotion for 20% off this today, to kind of prepare you if you don't have one for another gua sha tutorial live that we're doing in April. And so we can post that information or maybe a links to the event page, Grace, if you want to share that. If you're wanting to join us, because we'd love to have you. But to prepare, we've got this guy marked down today. So yeah, that feels good. Let's get into it. So one of the things I wanted to introduce was the differentiation between a ritual and a routine, and where these can kind of feel different throughout your day. So obviously a routine is something that you just do day in and day out. You pretty consistently start your day with this. With our skincare, we have, standard routines, which includes the cleanser, the toning mist, the serum, the facial oil. All of that is a routine. But shifting it to being a ritual is where we bring a little bit more presence into each step. And that can often look like slowing way down. One of the things that I like to do before I start, if I'm really wanting to drop in and be present, is just misting my space with this. And this is one of our giveaways today. This is the Palo Santo Hair and Body Mist. And it is a very lightweight Palo Santo scented hair and body mist. And so I like to use it, of course, in my hair. I've got quite long hair. You can also use it in your space. And so I like to kind of connect all the senses when I'm dropping into a ritual. And so misting the space before you're stepping into your routine is just a great way to kind of have your mind associating the skincare routine with maybe chilling out, maybe feeling relaxed. All of this can be impactful for your facial expression, for how your skin is kind of sustained. And so, yeah, starting with that is a great way to shift it from being a routine to starting to feel like a ritual. And rituals are important because they create a more groundedness as you're starting to use your Annmarie skincare products. With our brand, we very much are working on connecting the whole body. That's part of the reason we've got the Favorite Brands Marketplace and the Natural Home Collection on the website, incorporating a clean skincare line as part of a greater lifestyle. And so dropping in and grounding yourself, preparing for the steps in your ritual that are going to be, imperative for whatever skincare direction you are wanting to go in. When you do these, you can do it morning and night. Sometimes for me with my routine, I just will do it in the morning, and the nighttime is, I've got two kids, we're just moving along, and I drop the pressure and I just let it be a normal routine. But slowing down quite a bit, using some kind of other products is how we're going to shift this into being more of the ritual. So in the morning, what I like to do is, if I can, and I've got the space and time, I turn my lights down before I step into the shower. A tool I like to use, which is another one that I feel like we never really get to talk about much, is the body brush. And this is a dry brush. You use this on the body, obviously, and you just gently are kind of moving this in circular motions towards the heart. And this is an awesome way to, first of all, just lightly exfoliate the skin. It's great if you're wanting to prep the body, especially if you're knowing that you're going to be applying some lotions or body butter or something afterward. And it doesn't take very long. And you just gently are buffing the body, kind of moving this along the body. And then your skin is very kind of alive. I can feel the difference in this arm versus this arm, and prepping you for getting into the shower. So that's just a little thing I like to add to my morning routine before I start, get into the shower and then get into my products.
And I'm gonna add to that if you wanted to go into a face dry brushing. I use our Lotus brush, and I'll put that one in the chat as well for my face. And I'll just start with my neck and I'll go really gently, kind of just on my notes here, and then I'll do around my neck area and then up into my face. And I'll do a whole routine there before I do the shower experience and then getting out to do the serums and the oils.
Yeah, thank you for including that. I also have the face brush. Sometimes I have it in my desk. And that looks different. So the body brush is, of course, this one. The Lotus facial brush is this one. And it is designed for the skin of the face. So the bristles are much softer. Moving this on the skin is not going to feel quite as intense or I don't want to say deeply exfoliating, almost more like the stiff bristles. It just feels different.
Mhm.
And that's just a great other way to kind of slow down and expand your routine. In the realm of rituals, also, once you start your routine, utilizing the Lotus facial brush with your cleanser is another great way to really be connecting to this step of the process. And how you do that is quite straightforward. Whichever cleanser you're using, applying that to the fingertips, applying that to the skin. I personally love the aloe herb cleanser as my cleanser for that step. And then wet my Lotus brush, or if we're in the shower, it's already wet, and then gently moving that in circular motions. You get a deeper cleanse when you're using it that way. This is often kind of a next step if somebody's maybe used the Clarisonic or a Ferreo, another Clarisonic type device for a long time, and they're wanting to kind of use a more, singular, solid, organic type product. And this is the direction they'll go. And so, yeah, just very gentle circular motions all across the face. You don't want to go over your eye area, but the face and the neck is perfect. Splash a little bit of water, rinse it off. I don't fuss too much about cleaning this one. If it does feel like it's gotten really dirty, which I just rinse it as I'm in the shower, then I might put it in the dishwasher and use some natural detergent, like a dish detergent with that. But I don't do that very often, with this one being a wood brush. I don't want it to soak in water super, super long. So using it, rinsing it, letting it dry is usually pretty good for me. So that's another product that we don't get to talk about very often, but it's a really cute little addition to rounding out this routine and turning it into more of a present ritual.
Mhm.
Another one. So after I've cleansed my skin, I'm out of the shower, I come into using some body products. And this is another one where you can really kind of slow down, drop in, really communicate to yourself that you are a priority and you taking care of yourself is a priority. I brought a couple of products that I really love for the body. The first one is this one. This is the Palo Santo Body Butter. And it's this super luscious, very, very rich body butter. And the feel of that one is going to provide a lot of moisture. This one definitely smelled like the Palo Santo. And so if you love Palo Santo and just the feel of that scent, then this is a really, really great one. The coconut body oil is another one that I like to use. This one I recommend actually applying even before you get out of the shower. I was talking to a customer earlier. We were just chatting about the best ways to apply body oil. And a lot of times people will shower and then get out and dry off and apply it. And I think that is awesome. And there's a beautiful slowing down that happens with that too. But when you're in the shower, you've turned your shower off, your skin's still a little bit damp. That's a really prime time to be putting the coconut body oil, or any body oil. We've also got the Divine Woods body oil that's great. onto the skin, the way it absorbs is just super soft. It feels like just a quick absorption and just a really easy, soft skin without that kind of heavier feeling that can sometimes happen when I apply it after, and I have to just wait a little bit longer for that to seep into the skin. Rachel, I'm curious if you, oh yeah,
I was
you,
just gonna say that's such a good tip because most people don't. I thought that was something everyone does, and I think I was with a friend and they don't. I'm like, oh yeah, that's such a good tip to do and explore is to use your oil while you're still a little bit damp so that it can penetrate your skin a little
yeah.
bit easier. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you had other like rituals with the body products, with the body oils or lotions or anything like that.
What do I do? I definitely like the applying it damp while you're still in the shower. If you're a bath person, sometimes we'll take baths with our little one. Putting the oil in the bath is really, really nice, especially the divine woods. So if you are one for creating a ritual for yourself and wanting to just really decompress and soak and kind of just melt away a little bit, putting a few drops of those is really great. And then I think yeah, that's it. I use usually just an oil. Sometimes I'll use the butter just on certain parts. And then sometimes, again, just maybe on my hands or my arms, I'll use the Radiant Skin Silk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The Radiant Skin Silk. So two thoughts came up for me. I also like to use the body oils and the body butter in the bathtub. And so as we're picturing like rituals, you can really build this out. Turn your lights down. If you've got candles that you can light, that's awesome. I also just like low lights, but there's something really magical about the flickering flame that feels really good, especially in the bath. And then doing a drop or two or a pump or two of the body oil. Like Rachel mentioned, the Divine Woods is also quite nice in the bath. There's a beautiful aromatic sensation with that one. So when you're soaking, you really are getting the benefits of the oil and that lovely scent. I've also used the Palo Santo body butter in the bathtub. I do quite a bit less. And that's another one that just really feels and smells super, super good. With all of those, you want to be super mindful when you're draining your bath and getting ready to get out of the bath that you're careful that the bathtub's not too slippery. Just a thing to be extra cautious about. I don't usually run into that with the coconut body oil on the body, after I've turned the shower off. But if it's been in the bathtub, just be careful because we don't want anybody to slip and fall in their ritual. That'd be so sad. And then rounding out your routine, you can apply anything after. Sometimes if I've done the body oil, the coconut body oil in the bath, I'll do a little bit of the Radiant Skin Silk after the bath, and that also feels just divine. It feels super, super lovely.
Hmm.
Um, this feels like a potentially good point to kind of get into our first giveaway. The first giveaway that we're doing is for a very loved product, the Illuminating Pearl Mask. And before we do the giveaway question, I want to talk a little bit about the mask itself and incorporating this into a ritual. So masks in general are going to be supportive for supporting the skin in kind of a boosted way. They're an additional product. You don't use this one necessarily as part of your morning and evening routine, although this one we do actually tend to use quite a bit in-house. There are lots of times we all have this guy on, but uh, applying the mask and then really giving yourself and your skin time to kind of quiet down, to let that work with the skin. The Illuminating Pearl Mask in particular is a really lovely one. The consistency of it is nice and soft. It provides a good amount of moisture while it's also supporting kind of fading discoloration in the skin. So we've got in this one some Uva Ursi. Uva Ursi is a really beautiful targeted brightener for the skin. And then one of the really important ingredients in here, and I'll see if the camera will kind of pick it up, is the crushed pearl powder. Sometimes I feel like you can kind of see that lovely, lovely sheen. The crushed pearl powder is a really nice support in leaving the skin looking very luminous. It's not so large or so big that it looks glittery. I feel like I've been asked that question before, and it's, your skin just looks very radiant after using the illuminating pearl mask. And so with this one, if I have time to do the full ritual, of course I will, but you can also integrate this one maybe as part of your day, apply it, do a little bit of like computer work for an hour or two, rinse it off. I also use this one under my eyes. So I did it this morning. A lot of times when I have live events or live calls, I'll apply this one under my eye and let that sit and then rinse it off. And that's a great way to incorporate it as well. Rachel, you want to add some things about this one?
Yeah, I actually did it last night with some colostrum, some hydrate, botanical hydration mist, and a little bit of Brighten all in the bowl. And I actually started with the resurfacing facial exfoliant. So if you are one who likes a peel, that one's really nice to apply first and really prep your skin and really smooth away anything that needs to be taken off. And then applying your pearl mask. And, the resurfacing you might leave on for 5 or 10 minutes. And then once you rinse it and you apply your pearl, you can leave it on for hours. I think we left it on. A couple of friends came over and we did one and had a little spa party, which is always great to do if you all are interested. We left it on for probably an hour and a half while we made some products. So it's one of my favorite products ever. It's one that you can use every single day if you wanted to, if you had time to, where it's not going to dry your skin out. It's not going to be too oily. It's just that perfect combination of hydration, moisture, that humectant, the honey, the aloe, everything in there is just so perfect for your skin. Yeah.
I love that you introduced this product because I didn't, I'm thinking about what I use in my daily rituals, what are part of my routines. And this is one that I do use, but I didn't think about. This one that Rachel's talking about is the resurfacing facial exfoliant. And it is an exfoliant, but it doesn't have a grit to it. I like kind of the difference of this one. It feels like a gel when you apply it to the skin, but it's anchored in a honey-derived lactic acid. So you get this very deep resurfacing with this product. Rachel compared this to if you like peels, sometimes I'll describe this as like a baby peel. I have not experienced or worked with anyone who has actually peeled from it, but it is a deeper resurfacing product. And this one is part of a very focused routine in softening signs of aging and refining pore size. This is a pretty important one. I do think it's important to note with this one that some skin types it's a little bit too intense for. If you're really sensitive or tend to be, fairly sensitive or reactive with more intense products, then this one maybe isn't going to be one that you're reaching for. But otherwise, even if you're kind of in the dry range, if you're normal, if you're wanting to kind of address signs of aging, the resurfacing facial exfoliant is a really very targeted way to do that. And in weaving this into a greater ritual, using this one and a mask, whether it's the illuminating pearl or another one, is kind of a routine that does require that you are paying attention, kind of slowing down and being very present with the products that you're using. The resurfacing facial exfoliant, it's normal to have a little bit of a tingle or maybe some heat with this one. Just some activity is kind of part of what this can feel like. Not everyone experiences it, but some people do. And so we really encourage you with their surfacing facial exfoliant to let your skin be your guide. You might find that you leave this on for 3 minutes, could be 5 minutes. Anywhere around 10 minutes is good. I find that for me, around 10 minutes, the activity kind of peaks and then dissipates. So I don't have an increased activity with longer wear. But listening to your skin is particularly important with the resurfacing facial exfoliant. And so I'm grateful that you brought that one up, Rachel. And using this one with the pearl mask is also a really lovely combo. Doing this one and then the pearl mask right after, the look is just like, oh, super, super glowy. I'm a big fan.
I'm seeing so many people have not tried this one, so let's add this one into the giveaway as well.
Ooh, okay. Let's do it. So let's actually do, should we do one pearl and one of these, or should we do a pair?
Maybe do one of each. Let me just do one for each.
Yeah. Okay, so
Two winners.
let's do the pearl mask first. And our question for the giveaway of the pearl mask is, what is one ritual that you have that does make you feel really connected to yourself? And I'd love to see the comments. Beautiful. A ritual that makes you feel very connected to yourself. Ooh,
Mm.
lotion at night, a warm magnesium bath. Like
Mm.
sometimes I hear things that I'm like, I'll tuck that in for later. That feels like one.
Essential oils before bed. I used to put lavender on my pillow.
Mm.
I haven't done that in a while.
I actually have a spray that I made and I use it in an old Palo Santo bottle nonetheless. That's a lavender, it's like a lavender eucalyptus spray that oh, I'll share a ritual of mine that is before we get ready for bed, so before we even do bath time and are starting to read books, I go in and I turn the lights down and I turn any bulbs that we have that are the red lights to a red light bulb, and I turn the sheets down and I mist the beds with the
Yeah,
spray. Yeah, and it's like that's our turn down service. So then when we come to bed, it's just like just such a seamless transition going to sleep.
I do that as well. I have our botanical hydration mist, the essential oils of it, a
Mm,
spray bottle, and I spray the sheets. And then Violetta and I both put this like nerve relaxing oil, this herb infused oil. And
uh-huh.
she calls it oil.
Oh,
And she loves it. So we just put like relaxing oil on us and then magnesium oil and we get ready. And it's really sweet. I love that you spray your sheets too.
yeah.
Very
I think lots of essential oils used. That's beautiful. Oh, rosemary toning mist on your pillow. Ooh, I bet that's nice.
the grounding sheets. Yeah.
Mm.
Let's pick a winner, and then I have a question on the grounding sheets. I'm curious if you plug it into your grounding outlet, because my husband just recently heard that you actually need to put it into a copper thing that goes into the ground outside. And I was like, wait, what? So I had no idea, but I want to know someone else's thoughts on that. But Grace, you want to pick a winner?
Yes, so our winner is Terry. And Terry's ritual, she does her ritual with crystal bowls and a facial, which is like so on brand for this call. So Terry, you won the Illuminating Pro Mask, which is so exciting to add into said ritual. So yay.
Congrats.
Yay. That's beautiful. Oh, that's so exciting. Okay. And for the next one, so we're doing another giveaway for the resurfacing facial exfoliant. And for that one, I'm curious if you use an exfoliant and if you do, what it is, how you use it, all of that.
And then someone had asked earlier how often you can use that one. It depends on your skin type. You know, I personally will use it every couple of weeks, but I also will exfoliate with something else on the alternate weeks. So I'll typically try to do some form of exfoliation once a week. But if you can handle it, you can go twice. And Kate, you can touch on that too if you want.
Yeah, so this one for me, I tend to do about every 2 weeks. And I think you covered most of it. I wouldn't go more frequent than once a week. And I do work with some customers whose skin is, strong enough and sturdy enough, and they've got enough consistent oil production that they use this about once a week and are big fans of it. They're usually subscribers of it also. Um, but I find that most of the time, people are using it about every 10 days or so. Or if they're using another exfoliant, they might be alternating. A couple things to note with the frequency of this one, the resurfacing facial exfoliant. I want just to kind of invite additional awareness if you use the activated night serum. You definitely can use this and then this, but to kind of see how your skin feels, to watch the pacing of it. I find that sometimes if I have used this one maybe once a week versus every 10 days, just frequently enough that I'm really kind of hitting it hard, that this can feel a little bit drier after a couple days. So that's one that these both have kind of an exfoliation component to it. Another thing to note with this one, depending on how frequently you use that, I want to very, very strongly encourage the use of the Sun Love before you're going out into the world, probably at least 2 or 3 days after you use a product like this. So whether you land on doing it every 2 weeks, whether you land on doing it once a week, just being super, super careful to protect the skin, that very freshly exfoliated skin from direct sun exposure, which can look like providing this beautiful protection with the Sun Love. So those are things that with this one, I definitely want to call out. I'm trying to think of anything else. I will, okay, so we'll add another thing. Sometimes with this one, I actually will do a light exfoliation before. So, if we're speaking to like a full ritual, a full routine, I will, cleanse my skin, aloe herb cleanser. I will do a light version of the kaolin micro exfoliant. I'm not going to press super hard. I'm going to use a smaller amount. I'm just very lightly kind of buffing the skin. Then I'll do the resurfacing facial exfoliant here and leave that on for anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. And then come in and do the illuminating pearl mask and leaving that on for as long as feels good. It could be, 5 minutes, could be a couple hours, and really giving that a lot of time to penetrate, and then coming in and doing my finishing routine. Another thing I'll add is I really also like to use the hydrate in my serums after this, the resurfacing facial exfoliant. It just really, this one is hyaluronic acid. It's got hyaluronic acid and peptides, and that hyaluronic acid can be an additional support after using an kind of more exfoliating or deeper exfoliation type product with the resurfacing facial exfoliant. And you can get that on its own, or you can get it in the set of 3, the concentrated boosting elixirs. And yeah, move that forward. So let's see. I want to look at the responses now.
While you're reading through them, I also want to mention the resurfacing facial exfoliant. If you are not going to be the winner and you want to buy it and you don't want to commit to the full size, you can also purchase a trial size on our site. When you have something else in your cart, if you're placing an order and you go to review your order, it's an option as like an additional product that you can add. So you're not going to see it on our site on its own. But once you go, I know that sounds convoluted, so we can stay on the phone after as you're placing your orders if that seems complicated. But when you have stuff in your cart and you click on review my order, you'll be able to add that to your cart. It's at the bottom. So that is an option. I do think though, if you have a discount like you have today, I'd go ahead and get the full size because it is a great product and I think you'll love it. But yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice addition. So you have the option kind of towards your checkout process of adding on a trial size of that, which is a great way to feel it out, and see what it feels like. I also like to add when we're talking about if you're not sure if a product will work for you or not, that we have a pretty comfortable return and exchange policy. So we really want you to have products in your hand that you like, love, and are actually using. So if you get a product that isn't, for whatever reason, your favorite or working for you, you can contact us at ask@annmariegianni.com, or we have a support page on the website, and we're going to get you taken care of from there. So sometimes that is an additional kind of helps reassure people that if they're on the fence about something, that like our intention is that you have a product in your hand that you love. So we're going to work with you to make that happen. Okay, I am going to read some of these, and then Grace, while I'm reading some of these, if you want to pick and share who our winner is.
So our winner is Beth, and Beth put in the chat that she's been looking for a safe exfoliant. I've used homemade sugar scrubs, but need something a little more nourishing. So this is just like the perfect opportunity. So Beth, you won the resurfacing facial exfoliant. So for Beth and Terry are two winners so far. I'm gonna go ahead and direct message you in the chat for your email. That's how I'll get a hold of you after the call. So keep your eyes on for that.
Love that. Congrats. Yay.
Wow.
And also, I'm trying to answer a couple questions as they're coming in the chat. If I don't get to it, I'm sorry. We will scroll through it a dedicated time during this call to go through some questions and give you some good answers there.
Yeah. So before we kind of shift and are talking about the next thing, I want to comment or reflect on a lot of the things that I'm seeing in the chat where people are incorporating kitchen items, honey or sugar scrub, that this is also a really awesome way to be very directly involved in creating a ritual for yourself. I like to kind of envision when I'm incorporating honey, coconut oil, you know, bentonite clay is one that I'll use in something sometime. That I'm like in my apothecary and I'm using our products to kind of create something that is perfect for me and works for my needs and very much directly supports wherever my skin is at. Another product that isn't one that you likely have in your kitchen, but also feels like an apothecary tool is this one. This is the Radiant Sea Mask and Polish. And what this is a loose, dry powder that looks like this when you shake it out that you can really utilize in a lot of different ways. And so as you're picturing like how to have the most dropped in skincare experience, this is one that does really invite you to assess what your needs are and to use it in a certain way from there. You can use it, of course, as a direct polish. So shake a little bit into your hand, add some water, more water, it's going to be a lot thinner and so a lot softer. Less water, it's going to have a lot more grit to it. And so really have some texture and then polish the skin. You can also mix this into a cleanser. And so I really love mixing about, 1 to 2 pumps of the aloe herb and then a little bit of this to give my aloe herb a little bit more grit, a little bit of exfoliation, but still really have the qualities of the aloe herb cleanser. And then you can also use this one as a mask. So you can put a little bit in a jar, you can add water, you can add it to another mask. Hey, illuminating pearl mask. This one is a really nice combo here, mixing these two together and also mixing it with honey. There's another kitchen ingredient that is a really lovely combination with this. So as we're thinking like, this build your own in your routine and in how your products are working and wearing, this is one that you can really kind of send in a lot of different directions here.
Dee had mentioned in the chat that she mixes it with our illuminating pearl mask and the coconut honey mask and a little bit of water, and she leaves on her skin for about 10 minutes, which sounds
Wait, all at once?
all of them, yeah.
Ooh, that's cool. When you
Yeah.
were saying it, I was like, oh, yes, I like it in both of those masks. But then
Yeah, it sounds like she mixed them all together. It sounds really nice. And I think like as you're mentioning the kitchen piece and like being connected, it's kind of like cooking, it's very different. Even if you got an organic takeout that was really delicious, it's so different from you using your hands and putting your own nourishing energy into your food. And it's
Yeah.
the same with skincare. Like, and although we can't make our serum at home right before we use it, I think this is why we create products that you can kind of tap into in that realm, like the concentrated boosting elixirs, and really customizing your routine and adding your touch to it and putting
Yeah.
a drop here and like really listening to your skin's needs. So you're like, oh, it needs a little extra hydrate. I'm going to do that. Or I'm going to use this serum and blend it with this serum. Or maybe I might use this oil today. So you're
Yeah.
adding a little bit of your own chefness into your skincare routine.
Yeah, I love that chefness, the description there.
Yeah.
Um, I want to talk a little bit about the gua sha.
I'm
Oh,
doing my chin here.
yeah. So I'll bring it up again, and maybe if you had joined later, we hadn't shared with you yet, but part of our goings on today, one of the benefits is we are offering 20% off of the gua sha stone specifically, and noting that we have a gua sha live event that will be coming up in April, and Grace had shared the events page. You can find our events page on the website, but that's always been a super popular call. And so we wanted to give the heads up because sometimes people join and they don't have a gua sha, and so they're just kind of watching versus doing it along with us. So this is a great opportunity, if you're thinking about it, to get the gua sha. So, and Grace, I don't know if you want to pop back in the chat what that code is or the kind of stipulations or anything around that, so you can check that out. But what this is a facial tool. We use a certified jade for this tool. This is also a custom design of ours that and Rachel, maybe you could speak to the process of this, how this was designed, but one that you're only going to find with here at Annmarie with the comb and the lip and all of that. Um, and
I was just
we,
responding to a customer. Sorry.
yeah, no, you're good. I do want to expand upon the process of like why we designed it the way we designed this.
Yeah, I had taken a class on gua sha. I don't even know. This was probably 11 years ago at this point, and I was just in love. I was like, "Oh wow!" Because she had us do one side of our face first, and this side was like this, and this side was like this, and I was just
Mhm.
like, "Oh my goodness, that is obviously incredible," you know. And so I started doing it obsessively for months, and I was like, we need a gua sha stone. So we initially came out with just a very simplified general gua sha stone, and I wanted one that was just a little bit more unique, that had all of the fun things that I've seen all combined into one. So I've seen one with a really cool lip that's really great for the forehead. I've seen one with the feathering tool, but it didn't have the curves that you want. So my at the time my dad had lived in China, and so I went out there to visit him. We visited a few facilities just to really connect with what we were doing, and I sent him a few sketches, and it took a while. It took probably a year and a half to work back and forth with getting mock-ups and making sure it was just the perfect tool. So we have the lip here, we have a small little curvature here for around the eye area and being gentle. You have two, I call them like your curve hips. You have a wider one here that's really nice for your cheeks. You have a more intensified version here for your jawline. And this one as well, if you want to scoop underneath. And then, you know, you can go into the sides of your lymph here as well. And then the feathering tool you can use for a bunch of different things. You can use it on your lips, and then you can also use this double curve feature here. So you have one wrapping around your cheekbone, one kind of tucking it. Once you have it in your hand and you're lighting in your face, you'll feel how it feels perfect for your face. You can also use the feathering for um, going lines like this up and down. So you want to go in a vertical motion across your forehead, and then also horizontal. And then you can use your lip to kind of smooth it out after. And I'm giving you a very truncated version here because we will do a gua sha tutorial in April. Um, but yeah, every single piece of this stone has been intentionally thought of for just having the perfect gua sha experience. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. I know I really appreciate how well this fits the face and also the comb feature on this one, which is again a unique design to ours. So um, how you're introducing your gua sha, I always kind of say that consistency is a higher priority than duration. So doing it 5 minutes a day is going to go a lot further than doing it for an hour once a month or something like that. And when you get yours and you're using it and you're kind of, feeling it out, we definitely recommend taking a before photo, or at minimum taking a picture of your face after you've done just half of your face. And the tutorial that we're going to be doing in April is going to be quite thorough. I'm in this call, I'm not really going to get into too much about, how you use it and all of the steps that we can go through with one of these. But when we have the call in April, it'll be a pretty thorough one here. I will say that when you're using this, you want to make sure that you're using an oil. And so now is a good time if you're preparing for the upcoming Gua Sha Live that you think about what facial oil you want to use with that one. I really love one of two, but any of these are going to be great. The first one that I really like a lot is the anti-aging. This one is awesome. And, the jojoba in that is super, super rich. The other one, this one is my absolute favorite. I find that just the brightness of my skin after using this is the rejuvenating facial oil is just so lifted and luminous with it. And there are, the way these are formulated is a little different with the anti-aging to this one. So but I like to note this is a great combo. And if you're moving in the direction of taking steps to be very intentional with your skin, with a tool day in and day out, that prioritizing a high quality oil, and this one is very top shelf as far as facial oils go, as your medium is an important part of the process. So the gua sha. Now, I want to talk about at least two more products and then we'll kind of segue into another giveaway here. The first one is a hair product, and this is another one that I feel like we just almost never have all the time to spend on that we want. We do, myself and another teammate, Emily, host consultations a couple times a week, which shameless plug, we'd love to have you on there. We are able to spend a lot of focused time on your skin and your needs on these group consults. And Grace, I don't know if you want to link it. But this is our hair serum. And this is a really lovely kind of almost balm consistency in a little pot that you get and I kind of scrape my fingernail backward and warm it in my fingers. But this has been really profound for my hair. I find that I am able to go longer in between washes with that. It just really smooths the ends quite nicely. And my hair has grown so long in the duration of using it. I have, to be fair, grown long hair before, but the speed of this and how smooth the ends are is something I very much notice with the hair serum. And so how you use it can vary. You can apply it to dry ends like I do sometimes. I also will apply it to my hair when it's damp. I primarily focus on the ends of my hair, although sometimes if I wear my hair up, I might have some flyaways that I'll just kind of, gently get my fingers wet, with the balm here and just kind of smooth that down. But I don't usually get it too concentrated towards the roots. I primarily focus it on the ends of my hair. And yeah, this is great for those pesky flyaways. So this is another one that as you're really wanting to prioritize your care and yourself and drop in with the ritual, the scent of this one is also gorgeous. And so I like this one I don't know what you would name this ritual, but like the ritual of people complimenting how I smell, that is a ritual I like with this one, with the hair serum. And then the next product is our giveaway, our last giveaway in this beautiful call, and also giveaway if you are placing an order in this time frame here. So this is just added onto your order, right, Grace? Grace is, yeah, okay, great. So you don't have to do any extra steps for this one. This one just gets added into your order. It's the Palo Santo hair and body mist, and I kind of briefly introduced it at the beginning, but in terms of really kind of dropping in, if you're wanting to have a very almost romanticized ritual, this is a great tool for that. Obviously it's a spray bottle. I use mine in my hair a fair amount, this one or the hair serum, and you just gently mist it. And it's a super lightweight spray. I also like this one if I'm going into like a longer bath or I'm doing a full, body brushing. Oops, this guy here. And just dropping into a ritual, I'll spray my space before I come into that. So gently misting the space and then coming in and either doing a full body ritual, a longer face ritual. And I feel like that one pairs lovely with just turning your lights down. It's not a product I can sell you, but try it. Just turn your lights down and mist that spray. It's going to feel quite good. So let's get into the giveaway. We're giving away 2 of these. So Grace is gonna pick 2 folks here. And my question for you all is, in what ways are you envisioning your skincare ritual? When you're picturing what the most beautiful full ritual would look like for you, what does that look like? Share in the chat here. I'm super curious to see these, what they are. Oh yeah, love this. Rejuvenating routine, enjoying the scents. Enjoying the scent of something is a really quick way to kind of come back into the present moment, which is super easy to do with your skincare routine. Just noting what it smells like and not fussing over, being so present or being so mindful or whatever, just noting what it smells like as you're doing this here. Beautiful spiritual awakening, candles diffuser. Gotcha. Quiet space. That's important. Quiet space, good smells. Enjoying each step. Feeling peace. Oh, the chefness moment. Yeah, that's beautiful. Light music. Oh, yeah, music is good. I feel like that's one that I don't incorporate as often as I could into longer baths or rituals. Just like having some nice music playing. Set the mood. Dry face. Ooh, interesting. Starting with the dry face with the phytonutrient cleanser. I'm into this. I'm curious. I'll try that one. Music, decadent smells, music, pretty smells. This makes me think we did a call at some point. It was maybe an internal retreat where we were sharing reflections of some of our dreams, and Annmarie was with us and had shared that she kind of forgot when she first was preparing and visioning and creating Annmarie skincare, that she had noted that she wanted products with pretty smells, and then found it, I think, in a notebook. Do you remember that, Rach? Or something like that? You might have been off for maternity leave, but she had written that in a notebook and then found the notebook and then was really just so pleasantly encouraged because so many of our products have luscious, beautiful scents. It's a huge anchor in how people relate to the whole line, is the scent profile of everything is really intentional. So yeah. Yeah. Escape from teenagers. Big respect for that. Grace, how's it feel? We feel like you're ready? We can pick
Yes.
two?
We do have, where are we doing one winner or two winners?
Two winners.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay,
Yeah.
just want to make sure. Our two winners are Kim Schuster and Vicky. So yay. Oh, Kim, you're right there. Yay. So Kim and Vicky, that's so exciting. I sprayed it before I came on this call and I still love it. I also use it in my hair and I get compliments all the time. Just saying. But I will direct message you for your email so I can email you right after the call to claim your free gift. But yay, I'm so excited for you to try it.
Yay.
Congrats.
Very exciting.
We're coming up on the hour almost.
I know it's been moving so fast. I feel like it's a good point to open it up for a Q&A. Yeah, so I know some questions have come throughout, but if those A didn't get answered or B, you have more questions, let's take some of the time to answer questions about rituals, questions about our products, questions about some of the products that we talked about today. Let's see, and you can put those in the chat. We'd love to get those answered for you here while you're all thinking and stewing on your questions. I do want to reiterate the giveaways. So right now, any order placed in this time frame will complimentary, or any order of 250 or more, Grace? Yeah, thank you. I don't know if I qualified that before. So any order that's placed in this time frame, right before, I think it's right about an hour after this call. I'm deferring to my angel
Yeah,
Grace.
so 5 p.m. PST.
Okay, thank you. We're going to send you this. This is going to be added to your order. And then we are doing 20% on the gua sha. And this is a great way to prep and have your gua sha ready for when we do our live tutorial in April. So those things. Oh, question, Rachel, you might answer this one. Will the Revitalize be offered in its own 30 milliliter size?
It depends on how often we hear that same question. For the Brighten and the Hydrate, we heard it quite often, so we decided to do it. We have to make sure that it would sell, so maybe we'll survey our customers and get an idea of what people are looking for. We did launch the activated night serum so that you do have that as your option that has kind of the Revitalize in it. So hopefully that can help.
Yeah, cool. And Rachel's right. We pretty much just listen to feedback. So if we find that we're getting that question a lot, we'll probably move in that direction. But right now we don't have it on the docket. So what was the product that I quickly held up as something I like to mix with the vitamin C mask? This one, the Illuminating Pearl Mask. Phase 2. Great pair. Big fan. The herbal facial oil for sensitive skin seems to be too oily for my mature skin. However, I need the moisture. Ooh, what this sounds like is that you might actually need a toning mist. And I'll try to expand in a brief manner because I know we're coming up on the hour. So when you're finding that your skin looks oily but still feels dry, one thing that can shift that is utilizing a toning mist. And so what we recommend is that you take your toning mist, whichever one. This one's awesome, probably going to be great for your needs. Mist the skin and then leave the skin damp as you're applying both your serum and your oil. And so how that's going to feel, it's going to feel different. What we find is that there's kind of this really unique way that the toning mist can help to pull the serum and the oil into the skin. And if you're finding that the oil is sitting on the surface or not absorbing, or you look greasy but feel dry, that toning mist is what absolutely changes the feel of it all for you. So based on what you've shared, that would be the tip that I've got to help with that. Yeah, I'll
I'd
leave it at
also
that.
touch that the oils in there are some very thick omega oils in there. So you might want to try the rejuvenating facial oil. And then also just to plug, we are launching a face cream next week. So make sure if you don't have that, maybe we can share that link too. we are doing a live event on Wednesday, the 19th. So we'd love for all of you to be there. And that's definitely one you can try if you don't love facial oils.
Yeah, good plug. Thank you. That's
Mhm.
just next week. That's so exciting.
Yeah.
I see a question that says fruit ceramide eye serum around the mouth. Still a good idea with the hemp serum? Is it good to alternate the hemp serum with the citrus stem cell serum for dry, mature, lined skin? I'll answer the first part first. So the fruit ceramide eye serum is still great around the mouth. And what Margie's referring to here is this product. This is a very concentrated serum that we have designed for the thin skin around the eyes, but just kind of as a lucky circumstance, it also really works for the thin skin around the mouth. So a lot of times people will be using this one, maybe both around the eyes and the mouth to support with the little lines that can show up around the mouth. And so, yes, you still would use that in the same way. Using it with the hemp serum is great. Great combo. The hemp serum is not going to replace it. The formulations are super, super different. So if you're using that, like using it around the mouth, I would continue using that around the mouth. Oh no, I lost the question. And then the other part of the question, is it good to alternate the hemp serum with the citrus stem cell serum? It definitely can be. The hemp serum is our newest serum. It's a richer feeling serum, but it doesn't have quite as much that's going to be targeting and fading dark spots like the citrus stem cell will. So if you find that you're working on both of those needs, and you love the hemp serum, maybe you alternate it and use one morning, one evening. You might still use both. Yeah, I think it kind of depends on your priorities and your needs and all of that, but both of them is a great way to go, those two. Okay, do I see other questions? Oh, okay. Here's a question. This is the direct message. Can I speak to the difference between the CBD serum and the hemp serum? Let me, before I answer that one, see if there were any others that I can answer just real quickly. Okay, no, let's get into that. So the hemp serum is our newest launch, and this one replaced our CBD serum. So this formula, it didn't change in huge, huge ways from the CBD to the hemp serum. But the main shift is that we are not using just a singular CBD. We were using a CBD in that CBD product. What we're using now is this really kind of broad raw hemp oil that we found actually covers a lot of bases. CBD is awesome, but the comparison that has been shared with us that we think is really a great way to capture it is that if you wanted, a vitamin C to drink or something, you wouldn't just go to the store and get like a powdered pure vitamin C. You'd probably get an orange juice, something that has more than just the singular vitamin C component to it. The shift from the CBD to the hemp serum was kind of like that. CBD is doing a singular thing that's awesome, but the hemp serum is doing that and then some by being able to include this broader scope. We've got CBG, CBN in the raw hemp oil than just a singular CBD. So otherwise, the feel of it, the way it wears, the way it is working with the skin is quite similar to the CBD. So you might not notice hugely profound differences between those two. But there are some subtle ones with it shifting from the CBD to the hemp. So, and with that, that's taken us right to the hour. I want to open it up for any last questions that anybody might have before we hop off. But as we're closing out here, I want to thank everyone for joining us for this rituals call. We love hearing your feedback and getting your questions and seeing the same faces. We love just your continued support. So I don't see any questions coming in, so I think we're good to close it out. But thank you everyone for joining us today. We'll see you at the next one.
Thank you, everyone. Hopefully, we'll see you next week. Don't forget Wednesday, face cream launch.
Thanks very much.
Thanks.
Awesome. Bye,
Bye.
guys.